We are going to discuss the stillbirth of political parties in Uganda. Who killed the parties? Is it Museveni? Is it Obote? Is it Amin? Where did the parties begin to die? Do we even have political parties in the first place? This is going to be our discussion today. Welcome to Harold Kaija Live. Harold,
thank you, Ronald. I want to thank you for joining us. We said last week, we shall always keep here sharing with you. I hope you will enjoy our views. These are our views. You can add your views, you can put a comment. Ronald will pick on it. Even after the show, we can always look at issues and then we share them with him as our person who is good at communication, so that we phrase issues and then we bring them to you and we discuss them. Thank you.
First and foremost, Kaija, do we have political parties in Uganda?
I think that would be a fallacy to say we have political parties. They could be associations, because a political party, by definition, is a group of people who come together, joined by an ideology or ideas. They say we believe in this, this, and this, so those become an ideology. Like you may say, people in the FDC who say we are center-right, we say, if that's what brings you here, we talk about a lean government. We say in center-right, we talk about low taxation. We say government projects must be people-centered. We say even investment in the economy, government must be the driver. Like if you say you need a very huge hotel, government can pick money, construct that hotel, and then ask Ugandans to come and bring and buy shares. But then now when you go to NRM, they tell you it is called malt. How are they called? Might ideology. It can't be might ideology. And then what do they tell you? African nationalism.
It's not malt ideology, yes. It is military ideology.
No, that's how they call it. I want to say the way they call it. Now to break, they tell you African nationalism, patriotism. Ideology as a political party is about the allocation of resources. But then even what I told you of FDC, how many FDC members or even leaders who you would give a paper to write it? They don't. Now others who will follow DP and all the other parties, you ask them, why do you follow that political party? So in that way you find sentiments, you find somebody follows a political party because one of his hobbies in that party, a relative, or so and so. Very many issues. That is why you find a political party who a leader goes to campaign and say, at the top give so and so, and here give me. And then no, that one I don't like him. It's not about liking. So now that kind of feeling is what drives people currently. So that's why I would say there could be something, an association that we have called political parties.
You said it's a fallacy.
It's a fallacy, yeah.
And maybe that's a much better description. You know, Uganda has been independent for 60 years.
Yes, 61.
Yes, 61. Yes. Maybe
yeah.
it will be 61.
We're going to see, because October is just next door.
Yes. But of those, since we governed ourselves, we spent 30 years without political parties.
Very true.
And of the 30 years where Uganda didn't have political parties, the 20 years were under Mr. Museveni.
Yes.
The other 10 years was under Amin, and then the period in which
not even Amin, even because in the Bote pronouncement, the Nachivo pronouncement of 1969, when they said they decreed DP, they said they have closed DP. So they are actually closing political parties. So that is
whatever it is, of those 30 years, the 20 years were under Mr. Museveni. But under Mr. Museveni, there is what was called the broad-based one-party movement system.
Exactly.
So where do we put the blame? Is the blame when Obote decreed to ban DP, the abolition of parties by Amin, or even the 20 years from 86 to 2006, when the parties were allowed partially to be recognized but not to function.
Like say,
whom do we put the blame?
Obote would share some bit of blame, but he was telling what he wanted to do. He was going to the East. Going to the East, that means China, that means North Korea, that means Russia and the like, who do not believe in political parties. He was very clear. Then we have a guy who calls himself, who is a political scientist, who is not clear of what he wants to do. He's not clear to us. He's clear to himself of what he wants to do. He comes in 1986. His first pronouncement was to close political parties. He puts them at the headquarters, only to arrange political press conferences and leave it at that. Now when he does that, he says the problems of Uganda were actually political parties which were based on religion.
Were political parties put at the headquarters or they were banned?
Exactly. No, he said let them remain at the headquarters. At national, not even at the district. So that's why you would hear the Cecilia Zogwal making pronouncements at headquarters. But moving out, that's where it stops. DP City House, that's where it stopped.
So you exist in name, but you don't function.
On form, you don't function. That's why even
that's
here,
a ban.
Yeah, actually that's the mentality even here in FDC. We are Dajana Nkumbi. A political party is not a building, as Dr. BESIGYE, let's say people. Political party is an ideology, is in people, it's like a church. A church is not a building, a church is those who believe in what they are saying. So in 1986, when he bans them, because he had realized that it was hard for him to compete with the existing political parties, kills them, he brings something called the NRM, and he calls it a system. We must thank Dr. BESIGYE.
Broad base.
Yes, he calls it a system. We must thank Dr. BESIGYE when he came out and said, no, this is not a system, but rather a political party, single political party, because it had a secretariat. Why would the system have a secretariat? It had mobilizers, it had directorates. Yes, it had directorates. So that means he wanted to get down there. So for you remain at the headquarters, he goes down there to build a political party. You remember even after,
and Dr. BESIGYE's document in 1999 was how the movement lost the broad base.
Exactly. Because at the start, these guys were only helping him to get acceptability. The masses, bring on the Semongeres, walk you there, bring all the rest, the Savannas and like, just to walk you, to get you to the people, to be acceptable. And that is what he did. But then he was in a way, building a political party.
And Ugandans, maybe you may also need to look for that 1999 document.
I think we shall share it. They should not look for it. For us, we have it.
Release it.
We shall release
how the broad base was lost.
Exactly.
Because that document came in 1999, 6 years before Uganda held a referendum.
Yes.
Probably it could have been part of the factors that influenced the...
Not probably. It was. He brought the argument of discussing multipartism. He said, no, a system cannot have a chairman. A chairman is for an organization. You remember after the CA, they were talking about winning. The NRM has won. A system does not win because we are all part of the system. But even Mr. Museveni, as we must say, even never wanted a political party. And Ronald was telling you the reason even why he did not want a political party. Mr. Museveni doesn't want organized politics. Because a political party, one thing, it recruits, it trains, and prepares people for leadership. A political party becomes national, whereby you are able to move around the country and then connect. If there is an election, there are people who automatically campaign for you. because they subscribe to the political party. So he had wanted people to give me that kind of camouflage, so that it is only him who is eligible to contest for president. That even if you wanted to contest for president, putting up an infrastructure in all over the country would be hard. It's only a political party that can help you to have a national infrastructure. We are saying someone reserved this seat in Gulu. When we were here, Ronald is contesting, say, that is our man. He may not even know you physically, but now knowing that, the knowing becomes secondary. Primarily, he has known you, he has started campaigning for you. But if you contest as an independent, eventually, your colleagues, when you're an independent, you must get there. Wherever you don't get, you can't have votes. And it was partly, why the 2001 became a hard campaign. Because depending on volunteers, you are meeting people for the first time, you do not have a kind of a bond. So Mr. Museveni had wanted to be the only person who is eligible, or the person who he actually carries to contest for president. And then you remember when it comes to 2005, to open up political parties, even the mood he says to be Jeko. So it was a case of releasing those who are problematic, not to put up a political party. Ronald, a political party, first of all, to join a political party, you buy a card as a contribution. Then afterwards, they are souvenirs. If you have a cup, the way you have cups, you buy an FDC cup. Fire, it could be, its cost is 2,000, but you buy it at 10,000 as a contribution. If you want a t-shirt, you buy it. Now he starts a political party, where for him, they give you a free card. They give you a free t-shirt. They give you a free cape. They give you a free manifesto. If they have a rally, they mobilize buses to take you to the rally. They give you transport. And even afterwards, they give you money. So in a way, you are actually employees of a man who owns that party. Because a party is like a church. A church's strength depends on those guys who go to that church or to that mosque. That's why they say, a church in Ntinda, their basket. On a Sunday, they will collect 2 million. Then we go in our villages where they collect 4,000. And you even look at the infrastructure. Now the person tells you, that's why you see today, Mr. Museveni has controlled the churches by in a way that he buys vehicles for the church leaders, he pays for their medical bills, pays for so that those leaders stop to be yours. They eventually become his. It is the same he has done with political parties. So, because NRM would be like the litmus paper, a political party in power. But now there's no political party in power. The other day I was on radio, we are asking the vice chairman of NRM that when we are appointing, because we are discussing this issue where Mr. Nanda appointed himself to write to Parliament without the endorsement of NEC, we told him, did you see the list of the people of the committee? He said, we did not. But our constitution says we should. We asked him, can you question? He was angast. So in a way that Mr. Museveni does not want the growth of political parties.
First, how many parties has Mr. Museveni been into?
Mr. Museveni is a liar. Pathological liar, depending to by the definition of what of Obote, and then his mentor Museveni said that guy is a liar. 311. He says he has never been a member of DP. I was able to speak to Museveni before he died. He never talked about Mr. Museveni being a member of what? Of DP. But he says he was a member of DP. Then he was a member of UPC, even working in the office of the president as a researcher. Then he was a member of UPM, now a member of NRMO. Of course, as a liar, registered as NRMO, but it is now it's NRM.
So he has virtually been in all pre and post colonial political parties.
For his own what? Not ideology.
Except CP.
Except CP.
So then, if that is the case, how come that when he took over power through an armed struggle in 86, the first victims of his victory were political parties?
Yes, because as I told you,
because he had been in all the big parties.
Yes.
Then they become the first victims.
No, as I told you, he realized that
upon swearing.
Yes, that political parties is organized politics. You remember how we brought Paul? Nobody knew him. Because there is that tag of FDC, everybody knew him. But if you are an independent, to be able to move around, because for him, what he thinks about one office presidency, it doesn't matter about become 0C5, CGUE, MP, it doesn't. The other office, which has the executive powers to allocate resources, is what he's interested in. That's why he makes sure that there is no infrastructure that can propel somebody to go to the top. So as a political scientist knew that, said, what do? Break it. So that whenever somebody thinks about contesting for president, you think about Uganda, how you will get the task force and say, I'm giving it up. Even up to today. That's why you had him the other day in Chankwan's. He was telling NRM people, you see, my son has come up because you guys are poor. One time, we were speaking to Major Okurabon when he had issues with him. And he told us one time we were speaking to Mr. Museveni, said that, why don't you grow the youth league of the NRM? Said the NRM has a youth league. Said, which one is that one? You guys. What did he mean? The men in uniform. So the youth league of Mr. Museveni is not the NRM youth league. It's the one that led by Mbadi. Even if Mbadi is 60, to him he's a youth. That's why in any kind of engagement, he doesn't meet SEC, he meets the High Command. So in that way, Mr. Museveni does not think in the line of Partism. He thinks like a guerrilla. He looks about the discussion of politics must be in his home. Rwachtura now they want to make State House be Museveni's home. That is where the discussion of presidents must be. But whenever there is a political party, whenever it grows, then you know we can win power. Having a leader. He wants you, even if you're offer, you can. That's why he's not bothered at having more than 100 MPs who are independent. Actually, he's better off even if they are more than the NRM. Because an independent is independent of the other. It can never be an association. That's why you see, independents are more than the MPs. But they're not leaders of opposition. Because everyone is image of each other. Even if you had 400 of them and only had 50 NRM, Mr. Museveni would be very happy. Because he tells you political parties is divisive. That's why now you see his strategy. Keep UPC in Lamu. Keep NOP in Buganda. DP, he wants to take it to Acholi. So it keeps there. Now the agenda of the guy is saying...
Because DP has been replaced by NOP in
Exactly.
Buganda.
So now he wants to put FDC in Eastern. And you see the guys at Najana, the guys at Kyambogo, when they speak, in the East, so that there are no people who speak about the interests of Uganda. That's why when you follow Parliament and look at the time of matters of national importance, people are talking about there is a well, there were some storms, and a cow died at Parliament. Not talking about the nation. And Museveni becomes very happy and satisfied that nobody comes to Parliament.
In the Parliament, matters of national importance,
active village importance.
Important
yes,
issues.
Can you imagine? I was at a funeral of a kid of 2 months and the tree fell. Can you imagine? There is a parish where there is no food. That is a matter that must be taken as a sub-county. If it becomes big soaps at the district.
Or even addressed at the district.
Yes. Or it comes on as a case study. But they tell you it is, and the MP even gets a recording from the journalist to take to his people. Can't you see? I spoke about you. You have seen MPs refuse to go to Parliament because that the matters that are being discussed today do not concern me. When they say the matter, I've looked at the order paper. The issues do not concern, that they do not concern these people. There is an MP I was speaking to. He told me, for me, I don't want to go to programs where they speak English. Because I'm not speaking to my people. Which people? Those are the village. Yet an MP, you must be national.
Maybe progressing on the issue of political parties, there is something we and our political class have not interrogated.
Yeah.
In 2005, that referendum that opened what they call opening the political space.
No, allowing others to go.
Allowing
Because that
others, those
we don't want to go.
to go.
Yes.
Was conducted after MPs had been bribed
Yeah, true.
to lift the age,
Exactly.
term
Term
limits.
limits.
I think it was a month or two
Yeah, true.
after. What does that talk about the character and the ambition of Mr. Museveni then to first remove the term limits?
Yes.
And then organize a referendum to remove, to chase away kubejjako
Yes.
those that didn't support your political agenda at the time.
Yes.
What does that speak about his political direction that he was taking then?
No, again, we must agree that Mr. Museveni is also a marathon runner. When he told people that NRM was to be here for 50 years, they thought there were going to be 5 presidents, each leading us 10 years, and they go. Now he's covering 40, and he's coming for the next term. If God doesn't take him, he'll cover 50. He was speaking about himself, but he couldn't speak it, say it well. So, you remember when Mr. Museveni was contesting for 1996, he said that I have been a soldier. I hate the tag, he calls it, of a rebel. So he comes in a council. Also vote me as a civilian. And you know it was appealing, so that I go in the records of a book of Uganda, not as a rebel. So that people said, yes, at least let's allow this guy to be given a chance to contest as a civilian. But whenever he would go to speak about serious issues, he puts on a uniform or an army general. People would never interrogate. And then he contested.
And he, on his victory day, he lifts Olubengo. You know Olubengo?
Yes, I know it. Where we went to grind a millet.
Yeah.
And then 2001, when Dr. BESIGYE opens up the minds of Ugandans to show them what's going on, he says, no, now you see, those who can get his manifesto, I have a copy that time. At the back I said, on my second and last term, because second and last, now the campaign was, let us test the constitution. And we see how it happens. Let's not just chase the guy. That was not talking about roads and like, those were the issues. Very sentimental, a lot of feelings.
Because indeed, quite frankly, they had to be sentimental for one reason. There had been people who had been part of the collection of views during the Constitutional Review Commission days. I think they had also put a lot of sentiments in the document they thought was going to address the problems of Uganda.
Yes.
So it's understandable.
Yes, true. That's why people understood it. And Dr. BESIGYE said, when he was meeting with his colleagues, and his colleagues have written in their books at public service, in the office of Amanya Mushega, that you see, allow the guy, let's give him a good send-off. Said, you guys have seen Kaija, you've grown up with this guy, you don't know Museveni. I've seen all of you went to school with him, you seem not to understand the one. They even told them that unless I'm not the son of Chifefe, Mr. Museveni is not going there. Because you see, Kaija was a lawyer, Amanya Mushega was a lawyer, Matembe was a lawyer. So they brought the book and said, can't you see? He said, yes, that is written, but this is not the Museveni. So they were all campaigning on that line. So now he comes to 2006. Now he says, how do I survive here? What you do, open up Partism and appear to be the father of Partism. As you are aware, he has that narrative of always speaking about 1986. Not 62, 86. When we came 1986, said, let's open up to this. Now he tells his flocks, guys, now it is me opening up the what? Partism. Do you think it is prudent, me who understands the situation, I think I need to say you to help you sail this water, and then I usher you in when you are able to stand on your own. That is what he did. And it was easy to buy. I understand he met some of his guys. He said, KIZZA, if I put you on a scale of you and BESIGYE, can you? So he would put up a measure and it shows you that you are actually like, no, can you manage BESIGYE? She asked all of them and everybody was saying, yes, I can't. So now it was showing it was only him who had known the experience of political parties to come and try to first lead you. He was talking about professionalization of the army so that the army gets out of politics, which was in the movement system. So that no, they are right there. They know these are politicians and we are out, and they're out this side. And it was appealing. They bought into his narrative as a very cunning man, and we can see where we are. So, at every stage, he knows how to deal with his guys. The Mbaz said, Mbaz, wait. Mbaz was talking about the queue because I think he had been told, no, after I am done, the second term, you'll be coming in. And I said, no, but you will manage this army. And these political parties are new, you are not into politics, so let me first help you arrange this, and then you go in. So at every level, he has something to tell his people as to why he's the only person who can help you jump that stage.
At every stage,
yes,
he has a way he addresses his people.
Exactly.
And I think he does it to benefit himself.
True.
In 1980, he was very unpopular.
Exactly. And he said that somebody who asked him to take over government said, no, people don't know me.
Yes. But he still went in an election.
Yes.
Lost miserably without even getting 3%.
Yeah.
Went to the bush. Won a guerrilla war. Then in 1986, the NRA, as Dr. KIZZA tells us, once they captured power, they get that power.
Yes.
The military has captured and transfers it, hands it over to the national resistance movement.
Yeah. The political arm of the NRA.
The NRA.
But now he was hoodwinking Ugandans. It was a system.
That power that was being moderated by the military went on for 20 years.
True.
From 1986 to 2005. And the parties are released.
No, and only, actually, it would be even hoodwinking Ugandans that for 20 years it has been on up to today.
No, I because we are talking about stillbirth.
In his writings, okay, fine.
We are talking about, we need to let Ugandans know at what point did the stillbirth happen.
Yes.
So, if that military power that NRM controlled from 86 to 2005, and it happens immediately after removing the term limits, for which Mr. Museveni was supposed to end in 2006.
To say goodbye.
Then he says, you people who don't want me to rule for life, you can go.
Actually, there was a time where, I don't know when, there was what he used to say,
yes.
I don't know that, but I think around that time he was also using that slang. Uganda, exit, go to exile. That word was meant go to exile. But he wasn't using Gureba. So you would think, picking a Kibanja from Kampala, you go to work. But it was actually telling you.
Political exile he meant was to find your political space.
If you disagree
because you no longer believe in the NRM system.
Or in me.
In me.
The point was me. But he uses the NRM to cover himself.
Cover himself.
Yes.
So, The parties are released in 2005, and they are instructed to go and find their level elsewhere.
Yeah.
But he retains the power.
Yes.
The NRM retains the power, and it retains the military power as well, and the political power.
Yeah.
So it means that from 2005, when Museveni chose to remove the term limits, he had made up his mind that we don't need parties,
Yes.
but we don't need people who are not with us
Yes.
to remain with us.
It's true.
So it's at that point of the referendum,
Yes.
which by the political parties boycotted.
Yeah, they did, because the narrative said the political parties are right.
Yes.
Because that if we agree to go in a referendum, it means Mr. Museveni will give the terms on how you operate. They said no, just people go on, because like in Zimbabwe, me and you, if we picked Makoha and O'Brien, in the evening we would have a political party. That's why they have MDC, Shanghai MDC. They have about 5 MDCs. For if we agree, this thing is smart, you go around and no, we want to agree. In the evening, we invite the media, tell them, guys, we are a political party called so and so, and now this is our symbol. These are our slogans, these are our ideas, and we hit the road. So political parties wouldn't be hard to form, but here it is meant to curtail that right of expression and association. It is deliberate. That is why you find now these days, you find even now people, they tell you if you wanted a political party, you must find yourself, or you need to buy one existing something of the sort, which wouldn't be the case.
So in principle, the stillbirth happened in 2005.
True. And for me, I even believe it is at 86.
At 86, they...
Yes, it is at 86. Actually, that's why he killed it. You see somebody stunted. Somebody who has been stunted, however much you give them the best food in this country, they tell them, this one is
So
stunted.
86, he chose to stunt the parties.
Stunted them.
Then in 2005, he decided to give them that lethal dose.
Exactly.
And that finally killed them.
They said, no, these are stunted. Even if you give them chicken, four pieces a day, a liter of milk, they won't survive. So
and then, if that is the case, what happens to your dear FDC that emerged in that period? And of course, all the other parties that have been registered thereafter. Dozens of them. I think now Electoral Commission talks about 38 or something like that.
Right,
38. What is their function?
No, their function is to help cover up a hybrid dictatorship.
Hybrid dictatorship. Explain that.
Hybrid dictatorship, because in the past we used to hear about dictatorship, whereby somebody bans political parties, bans elections, bans parliament, and only rule by decree. But they realized, the dictators who went to school, that's a bad thing with people who have gone to school who eventually become dictators. You are even seeing them in the FDC. So what do? They camouflage and then create a stage managed election where they determine the rules of the game. Like how you see now in FDC, you are competing with the guy, it is him giving you money. Are you seriously competing? Or it is he's becoming a sparring partner. You see in boxing, you get someone who is energetic, so that to help you, to prepare you for the real fight. So in a hybrid dictatorship, they tell you, don't you remember, we had elections in 1996. We had elections in 2001. But yes, how were the elections? They determine who goes on the register, determine who follows the election, who comes and presides over, terms of presiding officers. They determine who counts the election, who counts the votes. They determine who declares the votes. If you are annoyed, they determine who will listen to your petition, in as far as judges are concerned. So that, you know, there is a way it is prepared that, and they have the media to follow it up, to hype it. Like you see recently when they brought the this roadmap, and every media house was inviting petition. So are you prepared for it? So to an outsider who doesn't know what is happening, they believe there is some kind of democracy. So that if there is, that's why you see there is a parliament, and they say this is the side of government, and this is the side of the opposition. By they determine who wins. If you are problematic, you don't win, or you must negotiate. So, sir, you allow me to only speak a few words in parliament, but we shall not go on the streets. Okay, fine, you can make your noise, but don't mobilize people. So that's why you see NRM people say, no, Mr. Museveni has been elected. And then you will hear a serious journalist talking about being elected. And he's asking you to explain it. So you guys, you've been here. Did you see an election in your area? Like what you're hearing in FDC? Somebody tell you there's an election. You ask where? Where we are is a parish.
No election.
And a village. We've not had anybody come here to ask for people who are members of FDC to engage in structures. But they will tell you, there's a chairman of this parish. How he became a chairperson, nobody knows. So a hybrid dictatorship does that. So it appears to be passing through the norms and activities of Democrats, but when actually the way they go through those processes is militaristic. You had in the last election when Mr. Museveni fired about 7 commissioners of the EC in the middle of the process. You remember in 2016, by the time of nomination of president, NRM did not have a candidate because they are trying to deal with Imbabas. EC extended the period of a month. That only happens in a situation like ours, whereby the guy accuses the EC, he gives it, facilitates them, he says that soldiers come and overrun a polling station and nobody minds. They ask journalists don't cover, so it even becomes only word of the mouth. They keep asking for evidence. Produce evidence. You go to court, they tell you substantial evidence. No, sir, how do they call it? Where they say the rigging was not substantial enough. They even talk about magnitude. If you stole my 5,000, you've not stolen. The you thief? No, but you only took 5,000. Say, oh, me who doesn't have a billion.
It's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money. So
for it to be qualified
exactly so
as theft.
Yes, you must have taken a billion, which I don't not have. It's only in my dreams. So that is what we call a hybrid dictatorship. That is where we are. Now you hear them preparing people for 2026. You ask them, is somebody going to contest with Mr. Museveni and wins? Now he has even reduced the time of campaigning. We had 3 months, now they are 2 months. You may hear them saying, no, I think, no, we shouldn't waste a lot of time. We only need 1 month. So in those 30 days, and part of them, police is stopping you. In this period, you're not allowed to engage in politics. Like what you saw in FDC, they tell you the elections, but cards are not available. When actually for you to contest and become a leader in the FDC, first of all, you must have a current membership card. And somebody, Secretary General says, I'm not giving out cards.
So isn't it therefore true that it is the so-called opposition that facilitates this kind of political fraud that Museveni fronts?
Yes, they
onto
do.
The
they do knowingly or unknowingly.
How?
There are those who actually know, who sit on the table and agree with him on how they are going to, as I told you, to play their friendly match or to have a sparring the day. Now those who follow them.
The opposition plays friendly matches with Museveni.
Yes, there are those who play friendly match with him. agree with him. No, if a man sends you money for campaigns, isn't that a friendly match? It means if you're punching, don't make it a hard punch. Okay, you can punch, but don't make it a hard punch. Don't give a knockout. So it is me to give a knockout. It's like a movie. A movie has a film star who must not die, who must kill everybody. Whoever hits, you fall down. You fall down. Here we had Amin in the 70s. He would come and play football. If he came to dodge you, you must show them that he was a good dodger, he fall down. They laugh. If he's coming to score on the goalkeeper, if you know he's shooting this side, you fall this side. That oh! The president is very intelligent. If he went into a rally, a car racing, and everybody had to wait for him to be the first at the
first finish and the start.
Exactly. So this is what happens. You ask them when election is ended.
He goes in the ring to do boxing.
You must fall. Even if it is a very weak punch. Well, if you fall down, the umpire says, "Can you?" No. I can't. It was a hard punch. That is what happens. So those ones know. But there are these who do not know. Those that follow those ones. The foot soldiers, the very poor chaps, because the guy can have money, give you some little money. You'd never even ask where the guy gets the money from. When you ask, no, why are you asking? Don't ask. There are very many names they will give you. So the few know, the rest do not know. And that kind of gullible supporters, because as I told you, we do not have political parties in the form of political parties. Because if people are joined by an ideology, they will question you. That what you are saying is out of an ideology. Even recruitment is deliberate. You say there is a guy called John is a good guy. He's in some school at senior 6. That guy I was following their debate, the guy was good. So you recruit the guy. What Rotaries do, they first bring you as a visitor. They call them visitors. So as you come, hey, we have a visitor. Well, for them, you hear a visitor by name, you think the guy just visited. No, they are preparing you to eventually become a Rotarian. They train you, you hear how they practice, you can say their slogans, you can say the 4-way test. So then you say, yes, you can even contribute in what they are doing. Then eventually now they tell you, pay this so much money to join. Now they orient you and initiate you as a member. Political parties cannot have members the way in Uganda the way you have it. That a political party has 1 million members. To do what? In the UK, the Conservative that has power, with a population of 60 plus million, it only has 250,000 members on their
register.
These are the people who contribute money.
I think they have gone up to around 300.
Yeah, I think they have.
And they are the ones who even participate in the
exactly mobilization. But you even have people who tell you, you've not given me food, I'm getting off the polling station. If you don't send me an allowance, I'm not giving you the DR4. That is not a member. That's a Wagner. So Mr. Museveni, because he was running something to make sure that these gullible peasants are attached to him. They say you are NRM. Don't go to an FDC rally. Don't go to a NUP rally. Don't go to a DP rally. You are NRM. Yet the largest majority of the people must be consumers. They wait for us who come to the marketplace to sell our ideas. They say, today I am voting FDC. To say, no, FDC is not what I want. There is DP, there is NOP, there is NRM, there is UPC. You may find a voter comes to a voting booth and chooses 4 different candidates from 4 different political parties. But here they tell, don't even ask. Don't even ask. They even tell you that constituency, all homes, they are not. So that is what has really actually put us where we are.
So if the opposition, as we know it now, that we agree were given a lethal dose of injection in 2005 and turned them into friendly opponents to Mr. Museveni, that would mean that Mr. Museveni determines how they
He's opposed.
perform, how they oppose him,
Yes.
and even lays the ground and foundation on who probably becomes leaders of those parties.
Don't you know Munyagwa? You're going to look for Honorable Munyagwa and speak to him. When Dr. BESIGYE was in prison, 2016, some opposition members went to the speaker then. I told the speaker, we are going to demonstrate when the man comes to open up that session. She said, oh, okay. Now what you'll do is stand up for 3 minutes. When I say, okay, they have seen you, you get down. Munyagwa was one of who refused to sit down. In that time, he was not even allowed, he was not given an opportunity to fly out. It was a punishment for not opposing in the right way. So that happens. People opposing in the right way.
So now, how then will political parties be reformed to actually become opposition political parties?
And that's the fundamental question. And it's what...
because as you said from the start, the idea of multipartism is a fallacy.
Yes.
We all agree that political parties since 2006 were banned and have never...
Yeah, because beyond color and a slogan, go on the street and ask any about that guy, or even the corporate guy, beyond the two, ask him about his political party. They know the slogan, they know the color of the party. We say, what is the ideology of the party? He might know that statement, but to break it for you and tell you this is what we mean. But he said, I am a diehard. What are you dying for? You die for ideas. When our campaign of rescuing this country, of liberating this country, is about liberating every institution from capture, from the state capture of Mr. Museveni.
That also includes political parties.
Exactly. He has captured Parliament. He does what he wants. You remember the late Army commander who said, you sit over dead bodies, and everybody obeyed. The next day, we said, we are not following. You've seen the judges operating the way. If you went to before Justice Second and your opposition, and he's interested, you will lose. If you look at the institutions like the EC, the army, the police, the civil service, to get a job in the in government, you must be an RM. These days, I understand, a list is taken to the office of NRM Secretary General of people who have successful candidates for given jobs. They start looking around. This guy comes from this district. Do you know this guy? That family, which party? Those are opposition. They cancel. It could be even the reason why we do not have a governor of Bank of Uganda. They are trying to look at all that. You are aware, I think a few weeks ago, you are a recruited 200 new staff, only connected from one area. Are those the only people that had qualification? When I said, do you have a degree? Okay, bring. Do you have a degree? Don't mind which degree. They will come and put you there. So I tell you, that one is captured. Now they went to non-state institutions, like the churches, civil society, political parties. There is no political party that will tell you, honestly will speak to you, and they tell you, Mr. Museveni's arm is not in the affairs of our party. Ask them, whoever you speak to, why did the guy has become a problem? Can you imagine so has been compromised? Those are the common stories. So this kind of, before we remove the capture, we shall still keep captives. And the captives do not make their own decisions. It is the captor that determines the time you go to sleep, the time the lights are on, the times you have lunch, the times you go in, the times you get a visitor. If you're in upper prison, it is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's when you get visitors. At midday, even if you are doing whatever serious business, tell you, no, all of you come, we are going to count you. Just to be counted. They tell you at 3, all of you are getting in. Lock up. You go in. They tell you at about 8, switch off the lights. Everybody must sleep. Even if you don't have sleep, you must what? You must sleep. That's what captors do.
So how will parties be liberated to emerge from their paper on which they were registered to become political active parties to challenge for power?
As I told you earlier, is that with this kind of capture, I think we must even get time and talk about this captivity. Thoroughly, how Museveni has captured institutions. Because even the bringing of, the releasing of political parties was actually worked against the liberations of Ugandans. Because then, there were only two sides. Mr. Museveni and the multi-partists. In Uganda, they will be called Abebibina. Then there were those those who have the same aspirations, the beliefs. Now, when they brought this camouflage of something that looks like political parties, they started competing with each other. FDC competes with NOB, competes with DP. Now they fight each other before they fight the real enemy. So what we must do is, first of all, to get out of those shells of that camouflage and get a united platform, a single platform, where we are seen as captives who have an agenda of breaking the chains. If we can basically do that, and for little, now I am FDC, I find my colleague in NOOP, I find him as a fellow fighter, I find a guy, the remnants of DP and UPC, like the Council Warubiris, say these are Isha Oto, say these are colleagues. You find the Sevamala as the remnant, the Dr. Lorome of DP, the DP block, and say, okay guys, what joins us here is that there is a problem. Because we must treat the situation we're in not as a situation of multipartism. It is a situation of dictatorship against those who want democracy. It is a battle for democracy. Not is you competing for this. Because even he has even formed a way that even if you get a position in his setup, it is your position. Not only for you to get a car, get land, get a medical insurance. If you are lucky and you die when you're in office, they will bury you. So they actually make you very comfortable. And you only speak about the plight of Ugandans as a movie. You speak about the movie, but you don't feel them. So the moment they remove you from feeling what you feel, they even start showing them opportunities. We can give you a license, you start importing, export. Oh, you say deal. So even when we talk about demonstration, the guys say, hey, the day they will close these roads, there's my container camping. No, it shouldn't. So even that one becomes a spy unknowingly because he's trying to defend his business. It is until we fight for the freeing of the spaces, remove of the junta, trying to all those infrastructure that we will get time and speak all that and create an environment where we are all equal partners, whereby they are all the same stalls. You come and sell. If your goods, which your ideas are good, they buy. If they are bad, they don't buy. They say, oh, people didn't vote me because I had a bad agenda. So
how do you generate that consensus for people first and foremost appreciate that the ones who are good in DP are with Museveni. The bad ones are outside Museveni's control. The good UPC is with Museveni.
Yes.
The bad UPC is outside the management of UPC itself.
Yes.
Now, even FDC as it is, there is now good FDC
and the bad ones,
which is the other side, and the bad one, which is
in Katonga.
How are we going first and foremost generate that consensus to realize that maybe the good and bad in our mother parties is not the problem?
Actually, we had put our struggle in 3 stages. One, the first stage was sensitization. where we basically put out of effort, out of our time, speaking to colleagues to understand the situation. That is not simple. That's why to get a degree, you spend 16 years at school. Many revolutions, the Mandelas of the one of that eventually was successful in 1994, was about 7 to 8 years. The one of Cuba was about, I think, 60 years. Gandhi, 42 years. So it is time, you seriously need time to get the right frame of mind for everybody to have a consensus. And that needs resources, time, and people committed to do that work. Like what we are doing now, people would put there others, you see what happens on TikTok. Somebody, others even deform themselves so that they get people to view them. Now it must be we to go to TikTok and find them there. And somebody is scrolling on the videos, he finds a serious one. I put one yesterday and by the day I found 1,600 reviews. I said, okay, I think that is good enough. But then, now if we are about 100 of us telling them those issues that, okay, you have had your fun, even listen to this, you come to Facebook, you go to the masses, you go to churches, you go to barrios, you go to those guys on Ludo, you go to the bettings, and you say, guys, this is the problem. You find them, these guys, I think we even such small recordings, put them in chips and those small videos, send them on WhatsApp, so that everybody appreciates the situation. Then after the second level that has always been, is now, okay, that is the problem. We organize. We have agreed there's a problem. There's a thief that is stealing your cows.
Are you organizing the masses or the leadership?
Both. Both. Because both must organize. If the leaders are not organized, they cannot organize the masses. If the masses are organized and the leaders are not organized. But first of all, you must get a critical group of leaders who are present so that we speak the same language. We remove our interests, selfish interests. Where kubaza, where are my benefits? If we, the other day I was reading on YouTube and I found a video of P.L. Momba that the problem of Kenya, I think, is at spending time thinking about the presidency. That's their problem. Everybody thinks about, I must be president. Everybody thinks about, I must be leader. If we think about, if we determine a common good, say this is what is good for Uganda, and then we say we hit the road. You're not working for an individual, you are working for a cause. So that you don't wait for somebody to pay you. Yes, have you sent me transport? Have you done, and remove that. And everybody contributes, even in areas where they're not born. There are people who will ask, let's go to Masaka. I have no interest in Masaka. Let's go to Gulu. I wasn't born in Gulu. Let's go to Tororo. If we think about a one Uganda, just a one Uganda, it must all be liberated. And all our efforts are needed. I can give an example. There's when there's a thug in the village, a robber. All able-bodied men must leave their houses and sleep out to see to it they protect the village. If you think you want to keep in your house, or there is a vehicle that has broken down on the road, and you want to keep in your car, we shall sleep there. And that's why we're in this kind of situation. But if people learn there is a broken car, okay guys, can we carry it and put it off the road? Can we help the driver so that it is off the road? That is, the earlier we get to that level, the earlier we'll be able to achieve our dream.
So, again, Museveni appears to be targeting the leadership.
Yes.
You talked about somebody who's thinking about his container, may not be partly interested in working with you, who has no container.
Are they leaders?
Yes, most of them are leaders.
No, they're not leaders.
A person who is eyeing to be a member of parliament,
they are not
to be a Lucifer chairperson.
No, you know they're not leaders.
They may not think the same way.
Because we call them leaders. Because our people are not, their conscience has not been built well. If the people are put at a certain level of understanding, they will distinguish between leaders and people who just have money who have got
Misleaders also.
okay, when you use that, it's something we have abused them. But those who are not qualified to provide leadership. Not everybody that has an A-level certificate must be a leader. Not everybody that has money must be a leader. There should be some traits of a leader. Have we prepared you? Because we must ask you to lead us. It must not be you to come and say you want to lead us.
But in the absence of political parties,
Yes.
in the absence of functioning political parties, how then do you identify, groom, and nurture leaders to take over leadership positions?
Yes, of course, it's the problem we are still grappling with. But as I told you, we are captives.
And it comes from where we started from.
Yes,
that problem.
Exactly.
1986.
He planned it. Yes, he planned it. He planned it, said, stop them here. So now, human beings are not like cows. That they cry in the same what? The same way. If we are put in this room as prisoners, we must not only just mourn. We must plan how to break those bars. Can't the civil society help? If it can't help because every year they must renew their certificate, can religious groups help? Can't clans help? Can't cultural leaders help? We must identify people who must help, because it is a problem that we must address.
But Kaija, you told us that cultural institutions are captured.
Exactly.
Non-state institutions are captured.
No, institutions are captured.
State institutions
Yes.
first,
And
but you
non-state institutions.
also talked about non-state
Yes.
institutions.
But
And
they are
non-state
individual.
institutions are cultural leaders, religious leaders.
Exactly.
Every bishop in
Yes.
Uganda that is installed,
Yes.
the first thing they get from Mr. Museveni is the vehicle.
No, you have had people.
Similarly, cultural leaders who are installed anywhere in Uganda, they get vehicles, they get guards, they get fuel, and get salary allowance.
True.
So how then are you going to identify people
No, I am telling you
who are not in your sphere of control?
No, I am telling you, every time we profile. That's why you're able to profile the good and bad, FDC, the good and bad, DP, the good and bad everywhere. You know, we have seen bishops who have come to say no to this kind of situation. Those must be our targets. We've seen sheikhs, we've seen cultural leaders say, no, this one is good. And even people know them. By the way, the people who they call Muntu wa wansi, but I hate using it, the common man, Muntu wa bulijjo, the common man, they know the right people. Those opinion leaders, actually, who can help us juggle in. These are the things. We even have colleagues who are in countries which are freer than we are, who can be of help. There are guys in civil society that you know, who even that kind of shrinking space, they still hold their heads high. Not everybody is dead. There are those, God always puts some silver lining somewhere. Those gray areas that we can get in and pick something. We can identify them to help us. You know, people we have worked with who are not partisan but are political, that we can always get, please, can't you help us in doing this, in writing, in knocking doors, in helping speak to us, in trying to, a colleague of ours who is trying to be tempted, please, can't you run and speak to that guy so that he must be put to order. Those are there.
In Congo, when President Joseph Kabila wanted to stay and change the constitution, the Catholic Church
was at the forefront.
At the forefront of fighting.
It provided leadership.
It provided leadership.
Yes.
And it actually won.
It's true.
But if you go to Congo, you will find the Catholic Church may not have the state influencing them.
It's true.
The way the state influences the Catholic Church here.
True.
You can have a voice, one or two,
Yes.
but at an institutional level, can you be able to master that institutional support to be able to stand against the injustice.
Ronald, even with our viewers, I told you, if you are dealing with Mr. Museveni, you don't work formally. You must be informal. That's why I'm telling you, you look for
Because himself is informal.
Yes. And he wants you to follow a formal process. Have a political party that he knows exists address, he knows his leaders, and even bankrolls it through EC, but even informally. Bring your budget, I give you the money. You saw how Bishop Chisembo, that is Rwenzori Diocese, who was very instrumental during Twejikwatako. You saw the Bishop of Rukonjeri, is it Kaiza or Rukonjeri? Who was not even given Mr. Museveni's car. There are still some good individuals. God created a situation that every time there are people who can rise up to the occasion and be of help. He cannot kill all of you mentally, all of you to be mad. Even when you see drunkards, they always have that one who is always sober, who will drive them home. Otherwise, if you all drink and you run mad, you want to go home. God always helps these people. Doctor would still, I was speaking to a guy yesterday, Doctor would still be with Museveni, or he would be now vice president. Enjoy himself. The Genomontos, the rest of the people said no. Enough is what? Enough. There are those individuals who can say enough is enough. Guys who are still in NRM, who still feel that, I think you guys have a good agenda. When people learned that our party is a captive, many people in the NRM shed tears. And they say, now we are finished. If FDC, the party we thought was checking this guy, was giving him sleepless night, to at least give some kind of banner to our people, is taken by him. They were not even, now people will die with their pain. You see, Panadol is a painkiller. So when you don't have painkillers, you will die without pain. At least that painkiller has been there. So that even tells you there are even sober individuals. That side. So how would we get those sober individuals to touch base with the sober individuals on this side and then isolate the mad ones who are this side and that side?
I think we need the whole hour to discuss how to reorganize political parties so that they can be our torch bearers in the fight for liberation. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure hosting you once again. Hope I can get you next time. It's all not despair. Maybe is there hope that parties can be reorganized as you conclude to pursue that goal?
I want to tell Ugandans and those who love Ugandans, party will only operate after the removal of Mr. Museveni and the dismantling of his patronage system. If we still have this patronage, Mr. Museveni and his patronage system, I am telling you, you are joking. You can't be surprised that speakers of parliament attend a function where a serving military officer is speaking politics, when they are the guys who should be the custodians of the law, and they are there jumping around. When possibly you speak to them off the camera, they'll tell you something different. So after a transition from Mr. Museveni, that is when we shall be healthy. I use the word healthy political parties. But during the time of Mr. Museveni, you will see stunted political parties. And if when they are stunted, a stunted person cannot have a longer life expectancy. Stunted people die early. I was reading the book of Dr. Olive, the patient, why kids in Uganda die between 0 and 5. Because they are stunted. And others who survive in serious countries, kids that age don't die. People don't think of death in 20s, in 30s. People start thinking about death after 70 years. That's why even Trump, who's clocking 80, he's planning to be president. But in our countries, when somebody makes 40, I am an elder.
They celebrate.
No, they're elders. They're not elders. Actually, those guys say
it's just to mercy that you reach to the fourth floor.
Life starts at 55, but for us, 40. But you are even there. You've not even gotten a job, so that's the case. We can do something, but this must organize. Think above our political parties and think in line of Uganda, that you must know before we remove this problem, you are joking. You're not going to have a healthy democratic multi-party system. It's going to be stunted on the camouflage yourself, satisfy yourself. You are a political party ABCD. Compete somewhere. Here you win, tomorrow they'll be like, oh, here they don't allow you today, the other you win, you celebrate one and celebrate two and the like, which positions cannot actually give any tangible service to the people of Uganda.
Thank you very much. If you want functioning political parties, don't be political jokers. Have a good evening.